Good morning, my name is Brother Anthony, and what you are about to witness is a biblical examination of near-death experiences and what the scriptures reveal about them. This is truly an eye-opening experience. You will also notice that I'm wearing a cross, which represents death. In this video, we will examine what the Bible reveals about what happens after death.
There was something else that's going on, something that's real important that people are seeing over and over. They see it on social media, they hear about it in the news, people talk about it. So we're gonna go and talk about it. It's about these cases of near-death experiences. So we're gonna see what happens. What happens when you die? What happens? This is we went over some of that in a video known as the religion of YOLO, you only live once. We went over some of that there, but we're about to touch on some of that now to see what happens. So let's go to Ecclesiastes in the Bible 12:7 to see. This is on parts of the afterlife. Now there's more scriptures to get into this, but we want to mainly touch on the thing about these near-death experience cases. What's going on with this? To see what are they doing right here. So Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter and the 7th verse, so we can understand more about these near-death experiences that people are experiencing all over the world. All right.
Ecclesiastes 12 verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto God who gave it.
So right there, the dust. Like when they say at a funeral, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. So the dust goes right back to the earth, and the spirit goes to the Most High. So let's get another example of the spirit going back to the Most High. Let's go to Psalms 90:10. Remember, our bodies is of the elements of the earth. So if our body is of the elements of the earth, we're going to remain on this earth. Our body's going to remain on this earth without the spirit, and then just start to decay. Things like that. So, but let's see what happens with our spirit. Psalms 90:10.
Psalms 90 verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
The days of our years are 80 years and 10.
Mm-hmm.
And if by reason of strength they be 80 years.
So 80 years. Yeah, 80 years is 80. The reason by strength. Keep going.
Yet is their strength labor and sorrow.
Mm-hmm.
For it is soon cut off, and we fly away.
When birds fly, they go upward. So just like our spirits, they go upward. So now another part of dying is called sleep. All right, we sleep. Let's go to 1 Kings 2:10 to prove it. This is what our bodies are doing. They're decaying, and it's just called sleeping with the fathers, or sleeping with your fathers, or sleeping with those who you're buried with. So that's another term. It's like you're going to sleep. You're sleeping on this earth, and you're also going to a place known as the place of consciousness of paradise, where you go into this sleep state. We're going to touch on that also. 1 Kings 2:10.
Yeah. 1 Kings chapter 2 and verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
So David said to his fathers, and was buried in the city of David.
So it says, So it says, and David slept with his fathers, and he was buried in the city of David. So right here, he slept with his fathers. So he slept on earth, but he regained his consciousness with his forefathers. So they're in another place called paradise. So go to Deuteronomy 31:16. A good example of us people dying is another term of sleep. So Deuteronomy 31:16. Because that's like another word for like death. You're just sleeping. So we've got to prove all things. Because we have to touch on these, near-death experience cases and see what's going on. Yeah, like. So Deuteronomy 31:16.
Deuteronomy 31, verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord said unto Moses, Behold, thou shalt sleep with thy fathers.
Mm-hmm.
And this people will rise up and go a-whoring after the gods of the strangers of the land.
So it says, thou shalt sleep with thy fathers. And as you know, Moses wasn't buried with his fathers. He was buried in Mount Nebo, in a place where people can't find. So when it says sleep with thy fathers, we have to understand what he's talking about. He's going to be regained with his fathers in consciousness. Your consciousness is attached to your spirit. So his spirit is going to fly upwards. And it's going to regain in consciousness. And he's going to go to another place. So, but also, like it tells you, like, also when it says sleep, it does also talk about your body when it's decaying. That's also known as a sleep of your flesh. Your flesh is joining the earth, just like your spirit is joining the spirit realm. Go to Daniel 12:2. Daniel 12:2 for a good example. Because there's two sleeps. There's a sleep where your body just goes in decay, where it corrupts. That's known as one type of sleep. And then you have the sleep where you sleep with your fathers. As for the righteous, they sleep with their fathers in a place called paradise that's located under the altar of the Most High. And we'll get into that. Right. Daniel 12:2.
Daniel chapter 12, verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake.
So it says sleep in the dust of the earth. It's talking about their bodies. Their bodies that's in the dust, that's corrupted and things like that. They're sleeping in the dust in the earth. It shall awake, meaning their soul's going to be rejoined to them. Keep going.
Some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt.
So it says some to everlasting life. That's where their bodies are changed to be incorruptible. And it says some to shame and everlasting contempt. That's during this after the 1,000-year reign. There's supposed to be something known as another resurrection of the wicked, and they're going to be having everlasting contempt once they are resurrected like that. So let's go to 1 Corinthians 15:51 to show you, like in the New Testament, that also dying is called sleep. Just a good example, so we can always prove all things. Because once you die, it's called sleep. Your body goes to sleep, and your spirit also goes to sleep. So you're in this state, a whole different state, where your consciousness is still alive, but you're asleep at the same time. So 1 Corinthians 15:51.
1 Corinthians 15:51.
Mm-hmm.
Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed.
So when it says not all sleep, we're not all going to die. Well, but we all shall be changed. Like, in other words, there's going to come a time where if Christ comes back, he's still going to have some believers still alive. Not every single one of us is going to die. So to show you that sleep means death. But we shall all be changed. So that's when Christ comes back. So when you sleep, you dream. And let's prove it that also while you sleep, you dream. So the ones that's going and they're they're flying away. Let's go to Job 20:8 to see what happens to them after our soul regains to soul of our fathers in paradise. But let's prove to show you about the let's continue reading about this dream. Job 20:8.
Job 20 verse 8. He shall fly away as a dream and shall not be found.
He shall fly away as a dream. So just remember, fly away, like it says in Psalms 90, it says we shall be cut off and fly away. So when we fly away, we're sleeping and we dream. And it says he shall not be found. He shall keep going.
He shall fly away as a dream and shall not be found. Yea, he shall be chased away as a vision of the night.
Like a vision of the night. So in other words, once you sleep, you have this dream, which is like a vision. So this vision, and let's even prove it, that your soul is like connected to a dream after you sleep. Let's go to 2nd Ezra in the Apocrypha, 10th chapter. 10 and 34 to see what happens, because he's going to give an example about like him dying and what happens to him. So just remember, fly away as a dream. And like in Psalms 90, it says we should be cut off and fly away. So, and it says we all sleep. Like you have to sleep on earth and you have to sleep in heaven. So they fly off and they're having this dream. 2nd Ezra 10 and 34.
2nd Ezra 10 and 34. And said I, speak on, my Lord, and me. Only forsake me not, lest I die, frustrated my hope.
So he died, frustrated his hope. Keep going.
For I have seen that I knew not, and hear that I do not know. Or is my sense deceived, or my soul in the dream?
So in other words, is his soul in a dream. Like after he died, frustrated of hope, is he now in that dream state? So you're in that dream state now. So after you sleep, you're now in that dream state. And the good dreams is called something. Let's go to Luke 23:43. Because remember, this is the the steps. You die and your body decays, known as physical sleep. Just your body. Your soul, which is your conscience, along with your spirit, they fly away. And they fly away to an area where they sleep. So they're sleeping and they're awaiting a resurrection. That's what we all doing. We're waiting a resurrection. So while they're waiting that resurrection, they sleep and they dream. Now, this place where they dream is called a certain name. Let's go to Luke 23 and 43 to see what they're gonna be called. This area. This place is gonna be called Luke 23 and 43.
Luke 23, verse 43. And Yahushua said unto him, Verily I say unto you, verily I say unto thee, today shalt thou be with me in paradise.
In paradise. That's paradise. So that's that good dream. So where everybody is united with their fathers. Right. So just in case you want to know the location of paradise, that after a person goes when they die, the righteous go where they die, go to Revelation 6 and 9. So if you want to know the location. And then we'll put them all together to see what happens, so we can understand these near-death experiences. All right, Revelation 6 and 9.
Revelation chapter 6 and verse 9.
So you can know the location of this paradise, this dream.
And when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of God, and for the testimony which they held. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth?
Keep going.
And white robes were given unto every one of them. And it was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season,
All right.
until their fellow servants also and their brethren that should be killed as they were should be fulfilled.
So right there gives a good example of what happens. Now, let's put it all together. The righteous, they die. They go to sleep. The first sleep is their physical body goes to sleep, and their spirit goes to the Most High. Once their spirit goes to the Most High, there's a little dialogue, like there's a little talking. Their spirit goes to have like a conversation with Christ. There's a little dialogue and things like that. And then after a while, the Most High just makes some rest until the next resurrection. So now, when you think about the near-death experiences, and when the people who experiencing them, they will say that once they die, they said that their body leaves, they go through a tunnel, they go upwards, they're able to see in 360 vision, and they feel one with everything. And they said the feeling there is so awesome, so bliss, they want to stay there.
At this point, I knew I was dying. I knew because my heart was slowing down. I felt my heart slow down with the beats, with the rhythm. And every time it would beat, boo-boo, I would feel blood coming out my body. My body began to feel cold. I began to feel this loneliness, this darkness, this all by yourself. Nothing is there. No one, not even God. I just felt alone. I felt my heart slow down, slow down. I felt it when it totally just began to come to a complete stop. At that point, I knew I was dead. I felt my spirit. It's like the sensation of my spirit came out of my body, and it began to float out and away from the body that was laying there on the ground, and I began to float towards these clouds. I didn't think about anything behind me, or my thought was, let me try to see, what is this? I was so intrigued with what was in front of me. My whole thought was, wow, wow. And the closer I got to those clouds, the more peace I felt, the more, like a love, like it was just joy. I just felt really, really good, like I've never felt before. The closer I got to these clouds, the more peace I felt. I felt this love, man. I'm like, wow, this is a great feeling. Then all of a sudden, like a window opened in front of these clouds. And I looked through the window and I saw this huge city. I saw these colors I've never seen before in my life, these beautiful radiant colors. And I saw these lights, like these bright lights. They was going back and forth, just going back and forth through the city.
They put him on a stretcher and take him and put him in the ambulance that they was going to take him to the hospital. I asked the paramedics, can I go with him? I'm his wife. I need to go. They tell me, no, I cannot go with him.
It's a ray of just love, just this peace, like, man, that's where I'm supposed to be, right there. And I tried to push my way through, and I couldn't go forth, and all of a sudden, a voice said to me, it's not yet your time. Go back. And when it said that to me, to my spirit, man, I'm like, no, there's no way I'm going back to that. No way. I'm going inside here. I'm going to stay here. This is where I'm supposed to be. This is where everyone's supposed to be. Therefore, I'm going to stay here. The voice said to me again, it's not yet your time. Go back. And I was fighting. No, I'm not going back. You can forget it. I'm not going back to that cruel world, to that hurt, that pain. There's no way. And I'm fighting. No, please, going backwards. I opened my eyes and I breathed. And when I opened my eyes, this doctor was standing over me, and he was about to throw the sheet over my head. And he dropped the sheet, and he ran out the room. And I looked around, and I saw this tube coming from my throat. And man, my heart was more hurt than my body. I couldn't believe I came back to this world. I didn't want to come back here. I was devastated. I began to just take a breath. Jesus, help me through this. Help me through this. and I began to breathe. This has changed my life by increasing my faith even more. I mean, there's nothing that you can tell me about, you know, when someone dies, that's the end, that's it. I totally disagree.
I've been to heaven one time, and it changed everything for me. I think about it to this day. I didn't get a chance to see anything, but I felt the atmosphere of heaven. The atmosphere of heaven is like, the best way I can describe the atmosphere of heaven is like, have you ever been outside on a very cold, windy day? Almost like it was going through you, it was so cold. Imagine instead of cold going through you, it was love. Every aspect of your being, like the wind of God, is just blowing love. And every time you feel it, you just get more enraptured and fall deeper in love with God. And in that environment, worship comes out of you. Thank you, Jesus. And in that environment, you find comfort, you find peace. Nothing else exists. Everything that is wrong ceases to exist from your memory. It literally does not exist anymore. The only thing that matters is your closeness to God. And you can be hugging him, and it's like you want to be closer. You want to be closer. There is so much in the brief moment that I felt the atmosphere of heaven that changed my life. And the reason why I couldn't see anything is because I felt like I was being cradled, like I was being carried by an angel that had his hands over my eyes. So I couldn't see anything, but I just felt the atmosphere of heaven.
Time, I could, however the Lord does what the Lord does, I could feel my spirit separating from my body, and to the point to where it's like floating. But then I was in the doorway of the operating room, and I could see my body laying on the table, and I could see the doctors like trying to do whatever they were doing. And then my doctor, she was a woman doctor, I'm not going to say her name, doctor, and she literally jumped on my chest and she started doing this, and I'm in the doorway in the spirit because it was an out-of-body experience. And even then I was like, what is she doing? Why is she jumping on me like that? And I remember me saying that, and then next thing you know, it's like I was no longer in the doorway. It was like I was just brought to this place, and it was just like these tall gates, and they literally, at these tall gates, it was like pearls or something at the end. And as I'm like, I wasn't even walking, I can't even explain it. It was just like a movie to where you literally just gliding through the scenes. And I came to this place, and it was like this field of flowers, and it was not a flower that I have seen here on earth. And literally everything was in sync. And what I mean by that is, like, I can't even explain the singing, but it was just so in sync. And the flowers will move with the singing. And it was like the gates will move with the singing, and everything was in sync. It was going back and forth and back and forth. And then literally it went to like a different pattern, like breathing. And so it literally, like when it was breathing, everything breathed in together, everything breathed out together. I was there, and the Spirit of the Lord told me that I was in heaven. And I remember I didn't see like a physical body or anything like that, but I heard a voice, and the voice said that I had to go back, because I literally did not want to come back in my body. I wasn't even thinking about my husband I was leaving behind. I wasn't thinking about my children at that moment. In that moment, I have never, ever in my earthly life experienced that much peace. It was so much peace that I did not want to come back in my body. I can't even explain it. That's the only words I have for it. It was such a peace that I did not want to go back into my body. And the voice said, the Spirit of the Lord said, you have to go back and you have to tell people what you've seen here.
I started getting sleepy, and then I felt myself passing out. And so as I was falling to the floor, the safety guy was sitting right across from me, just like me or you right now. And the last thing I thought, I said, I hope he catch me before I could just picture myself going face first into the floor. And everything went black. And I was in the stars. And so I said to myself, okay, I remember falling out that chair. So I said, I must be passed out, or I must be asleep. I'm figuring out I'm having one of these weird dreams because I didn't know what I was looking at. And I went to this cave-like place. It was huge. And the walls came down. And as the walls came down, they should have came down to a floor, right? But where they stopped at, where a floor should have been, there was no floor. So it was like looking down into the night sky when we normally look up. So I'm looking down, not realizing that I'm floating. Where the floor should have been, there were a walkway. Square stones, side by side. So I looked right, and the walkway went down and went to the right and disappeared. I looked to the left to see where it was going that way. And it went into the wall maybe like 100 feet away. There was a door in the wall, and that door looked like the old castle doors with the curve at the top. When you say cave, most people think, oh, were you in hell or something, you know? But I had no fear there. No fear, I never feared nothing. And when I looked in the doorway, there was somebody in the doorway. And I'm looking, I'm like, wow, I can see through it like a ghost. I can see right through him. And he was just looking at me. So we were just looking at each other. And, you know, when you see something like that, you would get afraid. But I was like the cat. I was inquisitive. I said to myself, I want to go see what that is. As soon as "is" came out of my mouth or my thoughts, I took off like a bullet. And I was moving so fast that the sides were blurred. I was going so fast. And I got to the wall, that's when I was like, oh my God, oh my God. I said, humans don't move like that. How did I just do that? And I remembered why I went to the wall. It was to see who was there. And I remember, so I looked down below me, and there he was. But he didn't look up at me, he just floated along the path that I was looking at, the stone. And I watched him float all the way until he disappeared. And then apparently I went through the door because everything went jet black dark. You couldn't see your hand in front of your face. And all of a sudden I saw a light appear, and it looked like somebody had a flashlight, like they were searching. And that light fell on me, and it was so bright. If I had hands, but I went through the reaction of blocking the light with my hands. And that's when it took me in. And now the light wasn't so bright because I was inside of it. And it was soft. And so I remember I looked left, in front of me, right, and then down. And it was just this soft light. After a while, part I was facing started turning into a fog. And then the fog started clearing. And as I was looking, peering through, I could see a blue sky. And then that's when I got caught up. It felt like God he just grabbed me. And all I felt was just love, just powerful. It's like you get plugged up into electricity and you can't let go of it. And I was just like that, and it was just flowing through me. And all it was, the love was different. It was strong. It's something you never felt before, ever. And then I saw the words forgiveness, and then I saw the words love, and then I saw the words peace. And once I saw peace, I went back into the light and I floated out where it opened up. Each step that I went, I started losing Brian. And I never once questioned, hey man, you are in the sky. Whatever is happening, it was like my soul knew what was coming. I never had one bad thought. My mind was crystal clear. It was like the wind was blowing through it. There was not one worry in the world because I felt incredible and I can do anything that I wanted. I knew that. And so I floated down out of the sky and I floated to these pine trees. Pine trees have these needles. And as I was floating down, I could see every needle. Not one missed my eyesight. I saw all of them. And as I went down, I saw the tree go into the ground. And that's when I floated backwards. When I floated backwards, it was a drop-off. You know, like the California coast, you got these big drop-offs down to the water. Well, that's how this was. It was a big drop-off. And when I looked down, man, there was this garden. And they had, the flowers were so big, they were big as your dinner table. They were mesmerizing. They had so much life. You could feel it. And it felt like they were looking at me, even though they didn't have no eyes. Like everything was on me. And as I was looking at this garden, I can zoom in each flower that I want to see up close. While I was looking left, right, up, and all of that. And I was just zooming them in, you know, whichever one I want to see up close. And I was just floating to the right real slow and just taking all this love in from these flowers, you know. It was like they were alive. And then the channel changed again.
And they say they see they can see like all the things that they did already, like in a blink. So, but then also the thing with the near-death experience of the righteous, they will say they see all the things they did and their mistakes, because even the church fathers and other places would say like your soul goes through like little trainings after you die, because you dialogue with the Most High. So you'll have a little personal talk. So, and the Most High will tell you what you have done wrong before He puts you to sleep. So the sleep on your body on earth is automatically asleep. But right now you're with the Most High, and there's a lot of talking, and there's always one thing people keep on saying that they see when they in a near-death experience. It says all the things that they did was revealed, like all in a sudden, and all their mistakes and all their sins.
I've been taught that Christians are misguided, that they worship three gods, that the Trinity is blasphemy. Jesus looked at me with infinite patience, like a father listening to a confused child. His voice was gentle, but firm. Ahmad, what does your heart tell you right now? In His presence, I couldn't lie, not even to myself. My heart was screaming that this was real, that He was real, that everything I was experiencing was truth. But my mind fought back desperately. My family, my community, my entire identity, everything I am is built on Islam. If I accept this, I lose everything. I am the way, the truth, and the life, He said. No one comes to the Father except through me. You've been searching for God your whole life, Ahmad. You've been looking at Him right now. Then He did something that broke me completely. He showed me my life. Not as a list of good deeds and bad deeds to be weighed on scales, but as a story, my story. I saw myself as a little boy, learning to pray, memorizing Quran verses with my father. I saw my sincerity, my genuine desire to please God. And Jesus said, I saw every prayer you made. I heard every word. You were praying to me without knowing it. I saw my wedding day, the birth of my children, moments of joy and celebration. I saw my struggles, my doubts, my secret sins. I saw the times I judged others harshly while excusing my own failures. I saw the pride that lurked beneath my religious devotion. And through it all, Jesus was there, watching, waiting.
And the Bible even talks about that too. Let's go to Ecclesiastes. because people will say heaven is real. It's so much realer than earth. It felt so good, and they heard music. They was reunited with other loved ones, things like that. They said they was going through all that because they're having a dialogue with the Most High. The Most High is showing them visions before he gives them that rest. So that's that dialogue with the Most High. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 12 and 14 to show you. So while they before they're about to be put on to that rest, and they having that dialogue with the Most High, and the Most High is talking to them like it told you in Revelations, he's also showing them this. And the people in the near-death experience, they say they see this. Ecclesiastes 12 and 14.
Ecclesiastes 12 verse 14. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil.
Yeah, every single work shall be brought into judgment, every secret thing. So that's why people, when they have that near-death experience, they say they see everything they did, like they're watching a big movie. But at the same time, it's like they feel the presence of Christ or the Most High with them and guiding them, telling them, you shouldn't have did this, you shouldn't have did this. It's like they're going through like this learning stage while they're there, before they're brought back to life or reunited. So it's like they're saying, oh, you're seeing this, and the people, they're saying that this is such a good place. They see, and not every single person's near-death experience is the same. You have different ones based off of how the Most High wants to deal with them. That's why I said you have to have a personal relationship with the Most High. You have one person, he says he sees these large gates, and the Most High is bringing them and showing them this. Another person is there in the forest, and it says the music is there. They have 360 view. Everything is so beautiful and peaceful. Then they say they bump into the Most High there, and they have to have that talk. Another person says that he goes into like this temple where there's lights and sound, but there's the Most High. There's Christ. He's there. It says each one of the righteous who having this little dream area, this little area, having this dialogue with the Most High. So the Most High, he's starting this little vision after you be put to rest before the resurrection. So that's why they feel these ways in this near-death experience, because they're in that dream that the Most High wants to make them comfortable so they can prepare for their resurrection.
I'm glad you enjoyed our presentation. Stay tuned for part 2 of our segment, which is The Nightmares of Hell.